Hello again. My name is Christina Malone and I'm the musical astrologer. And I'm going to start this program off with a song called Being of the Light. And it's just an instrumental right now. So let's see if we can hear this here. This is from an album called Lord, Show Me Your Face, which I did many years ago. And I thought this would be a good time to play some gentle music. It's a very stressful day with all the planets in Pisces today. And we're getting ready for this inauguration coming up this week on Friday, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And I got a good response from the full moon blog I did, so I'm back doing more. And today I wanted to share some music with you from other albums I've done. And something else, if you want this graphic that I have behind me, which is a natural zodiac, so you can follow along with what I'm pointing at, you can go to my website, ChristinaMalone.com, and see it there and print it off. And then there's other graphics on that site that you might be interested in. And there's all my albums, which I'm going to be playing some today. That was from Lord, Show Me Your Face in the background, and this one is called Serenity. It's hard to see with the reflection, but it's Serenity. And then this is the one that I was playing the other day from the full moon, which was called Traveling Light. I had a song called Spinning Through the Universe, and that's on this album. And all these are albums that are on my website, ChristinaMalone.com. So that's enough of a sales pitch. Today I want to talk to you about a very powerful instrument that I use to follow the planets all the time, so that you too can find out more about the full moons, the new moons, and the Mercury retrogrades, which are the most powerful times that most people notice in astrology. But I really love this book. It comes out every year, and it's called the Daily Planetary Guide. And here's the 2017 Daily Planetary Guide. It's the Llewellyn, if you can see that, Llewellyn. And it's on Amazon. It's very easy to find in most bookstores and also on Amazon. It's a wonderful sort of a crash course in astrology, and I love it because at the beginning of the book, if you've never had any experience with astrology, it tells you what is the different signs, Aries and Taurus and all that, and then it tells you what the different planets are and the different houses and what all they mean. So basically, it's a wonderful tool if you're trying to get started in understanding something about astrology. And I use it to tell me when the full moons are and the new moons, like I said. And at the beginning of the book also is a little paragraph for each week. And the astrologers who wrote this are just wonderful. And bottom line, I'm just going to give my own opinion about what's happening this week. So if you want to read the Daily Planetary Guide, that's up to you. But there's so many people on the internet talking about the inauguration this week. And I'm just going to give my 2 bits. I talked about the full moon in Cancer last Thursday. Oh, and I forgot to tell you what day is today. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2017. It's always good to know where you are and to say what date you're on. So people, if you're listening to this 6 months from now, it might not be relevant. But the full moon was on Thursday, and it was in the axis of Cancer being the mother and Capricorn being the father. And that's pretty much all I talked about, except for Pluto also. But now I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in general this week, and also it's been going on for a few months now. That is the planet Mars and the planet Venus and the planet Neptune, and also the South Node, which is a very difficult point in anyone's natal chart or in any astrological chart. They're all in the sign of Pisces. And when we talked about the full moon being a time of extreme emotion, well, the Pisces is the sign of the ocean. It's the ocean of consciousness, the subconscious mind and the dream world. And so it's like the ocean of emotions. So having several planets in that sign at this time might add to the intensity of what the full moon in Cancer was, which was already an emotional full moon. And Pisces rules dreams and illusion. It also has to do with the 12th house, which is symbolized by the fish. And even if you're not a Pisces, you're being affected by this because everybody has the same 12 signs and 12 houses in their chart, which is why I like you to have a copy of this to look at while we're talking. Because even if I'm not speaking directly to your sign, it's still going to impact you. What's happening in the stars right now is still going to impact you. So when I talk about the Pisces energy right now, it's also related to film and music and art and painting and dance. Pisces has to do with spirituality in the form of groups of people coming together in ashrams and monasteries and spiritual retreats. And Pisces also has to do with alcohol and drugs and any kind of addiction where people want to escape the reality of the world. So if there's a lot of that going on in your life, then this is kind of the reason why. Now Neptune, which is the planet usually associated with Pisces, has been transiting Pisces since 2011 and will be there till 2026. And now this is one of the outer planets. So we talked about Pluto going into Capricorn in 2008 and being there till 2023. This is another one. And when a planet is in a sign for a long time, it stirs up a lot of stuff over periods of time and affects generations. And what I've noticed about the Neptune and Pisces thing that's been happening, especially when you watch the news or when you watch the TV, every single commercial, it seems, is a drug commercial. And Pisces rules drugs. So it's a very powerful symbolism of seeing how everything is presented to us in a way that says, oh, just take this pill and you'll be fixed. And another thing that Pisces does is escapism. It's about running away from reality, and somehow using alcohol and drugs is part of that. And any kind of addiction, whatever it is, it could be internet addiction. And so Pisces rules addiction, but also it rules therapy and 12-step programs and treatment centers. So it covers a lot of the gambit of recovery. And so what I wanted to share with you is that with all these planets in Pisces, and especially wherever Pisces might fall in your personal chart, it just brings up a lot of emotion. And so this is a week with the inauguration coming where we're going to feel a lot of emotions, and I recommend that you listen to lots of music and maybe dance and be with friends. And the cool thing is that Pisces is a feminine sign, and it's related to women in a general sense. Most of the feminine signs are, because the signs are either masculine or feminine, and all the water signs are feminine, all the earth signs are feminine, and all the fire and air signs are masculine, which just means extroverted versus introverted and yin and yang. It's not like everything is male or female. So if you're born in a female sign and you happen to be a man, don't worry about it. I'll talk about that more on another time. But if you want to basically consider the fact that right now is a very emotional time, like I said, and especially since we had this full moon in Cancer last week, if you want to look at my other video blog about that. But I'm going to show you a chart I did for the inauguration, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is pretty much how we do a natal chart. We pick the time and the place and and basically it says Washington, D.C. at 12 noon on January 20th, 2017. And if you notice, a lot of the planets are above the horizon, which is all about public persona and public appearance. And then there's all these planets in Pisces I was just talking about. And the energy of Pisces is still in effect for a while, for a couple of months now. So it's basically, Pisces also is about illusion and delusion and not telling the truth and being in kind of a mystical, oozy-goozy kind of foggy kind of place. So like I said, it's related to drugs and alcohol. So if you feel like that's where you're going, I hope it's not, but I hope that you can get some help and not want to escape so much from reality. So I know that I talk a lot, and I'm going to try and keep this short. I just wanted to talk about that, and also the fact that the sun on Friday, this Friday during the inauguration, is in the sign of Aquarius. It's at 0 degrees Aquarius. See how it says 0, 2 zeros? So whenever the sun or any planet is between two signs, in this case it's just going out of Capricorn and going into Aquarius, from Capricorn here to Aquarius. Whenever the sun is going between two signs, it's kind of like this void, kind of empty energy, and the sun rules the executive. So it's kind of like, wow, that's a very strange thing that they picked that particular date in history to be the inauguration date, because it's always going to be when the sun is void. It's like you don't have any real power here. But that's kind of a good thing, because we are a democracy and we're not a royalty. So we're not electing a king, we're electing a president, and so we hopefully will still have independence and autonomy and individuality and all that. So, but the idea that sun kind of is the energy behind everything, and when you see the sun with two big goose eggs at 0 degrees of Aquarius, it's interesting to me to have the inauguration, which is any chart that you look at, it's the beginning of something, the beginning of a birth. Your natal chart might be is the beginning of your birth, and so your whole life. So if you want a personal chart, of course, it's best to have an individual astrologer, whoever you choose. You can go to my website, ChristinaMalone.com, and get an astrology reading done if you've never had one. It's a very interesting experience. And I do help people with all kinds of issues: health, job, relationships. It's all, the whole gambit is covered in astrology. But I do hope that you can get the daily planetary guide to start looking at these things when the full moon and new moon is. And I'm going to start a song which I wrote music to, but it's not my words, and it's from the 12-step program. So I encourage people who have difficulties with, there's like 200 12-step programs out there. So if you have difficulty with food or alcohol, drugs, relationships, money, there's just lots of 12-step programs out there for you. And so this is a song which is based on the words of a prayer they say a lot in the 12-step programs, the Serenity Prayer. And I'm just going to play it now, and hope you like it. A little bit of okay, let's start over here. I'm just getting used to this. Technological difficulties. Somebody actually asked me, do I have a mixing board? I said, no, I have I basically have a speaker that I just turn on the volume or turn it off. So I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to allow you to sink into your own heart. And remember that meditation is really important during this time. And peace and serenity. Take good care of yourself, get lots of rest. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Whatever God you believe in, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Change the things I can. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom. And the wisdom. Know the difference. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you again.